Are you getting a reading now?
Oh, it's fine. Thank you.
How'd that look, yeah?
That's
Sit
great.
down, maybe, so we'll see how it looks back here. I need to start smoking cigarettes for this interview. Yeah, right. This is all. Here. Is that light okay back here, or should we move it at all?
This is my big problem. If I'm behind the camera, I can't.
I'm just seeing what.
Okay, well,
We're just gonna start talking.
how did you think of the title for Sappho's Boat? Just pop into your head?
That's a
A real question.
Yeah, right. Well,
Just because I like the title, because I wanted
because about 3 years ago in New York, there was like a good friend of mine was starting a woman's anthology, and she was doing this thing, and there was 4 editors. There was a white editor, an Oriental editor, a black editor, and a Latin editor. But it was a woman's anthology, and Adrian Rich was introducing it, right? And so I was a real good friend of this woman, so I assumed I was going to be in it, or I thought I was going to be in it. But it was one of those ones like editing by group, and so
by committee. They
yeah.
voted.
So I was rejected by this anthology, and I was really pissed off. So I sort of organized this thing with like 3 other women at St. Mark's, and we decided to do our own anthology. We did this thing called Ladies Museum. And
I've never seen that.
It's a Mimeo. It's like a Mimeo anthology, and we have an introduction by Sappho. My idea was like have Sappho do the introduction to our anthology. So then I started going to the library. Like the first poem in the book is about that, and I never read Sappho in my life.
Oh, really?
I went to the New York Public Library and read all about her and stuff. And there's a Hugh Kenner book called The Pound Era, and it's like 7 pages about Sappho, and he has this whole thing about how Swinburne had this idea about like there's holes in Sappho's manuscripts, right? And so Swinburne's idea was to fill all the holes in, whereas Pound's idea was like that all the words in between the holes were all that was the essence, And Hugh Kenner said you could determine an age of poetry by their take on Sappho, And it's like in John, like in three poems, like John Ashbery's book, like the first thing is something about leave it all in or take it all out. And I thought he was talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
So I had this idea like Sappho's Boat would be like you would just be following your perceptions, and the only thing that counted would so your mind goes like that, and so all you could do was describe the curves. So that's why I got poems. It's not just why I got poems.
I like Sail Away.
Oh, that's
yeah, like all over the page. But it's also because I had a typewriter that had no left-hand margin, But my poems started looking that way, and I thought, well, just describing the corners of your thoughts rather than filling in the holes or just using the words in between. It was like you'd just be taking corners. And so the Sappho's Boat, you get this little canoe going down the river.
Yeah, because it looks like the squiggle in the water that it can.
Yeah, or if you see like brainwaves,
Yeah.
they're like that. Like I had a job and you looked at the screen, you'd see, and electroencephalogram would be like that. Some of these brainwaves.
They're alive.